deficit. So let's bring in Mark Levine. He's a Democratic strategist, the host of The Inside Scoop, and a constitutional attorney. So, Mark, how about it? You had the Senate just a few weeks ago, both parties refusing to create a bipartisan commission to cut the deficit. You know, whatever this presidential commission comes up with, if the Congress doesn't go along, it's all for naught.
Well, I want to be clear. The Senate, a majority of the Senate voted for this commission. Now, it wasn't able to pass the Republican filibuster. Like so many things, the Republicans are requiring a supermajority on this. But 52 senators, a majority of Democrats, a minority of Republicans, voted for this commission. So it's not quite that the Senate doesn't like it.
Mark, hi, it's Deirdre. I wanted to know, a lot of government has given millions of dollars to a lot of these private companies with the stimulus money even, and yet I'm working with a lot of non-for-profits and healthcare facilities, one specifically in East Harlem, the Borinquen Center, and they've received zero stimulus money. Why is that? When all these huge companies have received all this other money, it just doesn't seem right. When the people that really need it, you know, when you have a healthcare facility that's servicing all of East Harlem and not receiving any of this money, things just don't make sense.
Well, I think we need another stimulus package. Look, the original stimulus package, 95% of it, one-third of it was for tax cuts for 95% of working Americans. So 95% of working Americans got a tax cut. That was one-third. The Republicans wanted more tax cuts and incentives for business that were also in the original stimulus. And then, of course, there was the aid to states and infrastructure. And remember, the overall package, the Republicans cut down. I think we do need another stimulus package. I also think we need to look at health care because rising costs are out of control. And we definitely need to fund things like what you're doing in East Harlem rather than insurance company executives. So I agree with you there.
Mark, you know, you mentioned that you want yet another stimulus package. We've already had the $160 billion wasted by the Republicans in 2008, $700 billion wasted by the Democrats in 2009. Another one, my question is, I question your premise. I read your notes, and I know that you believe that the government needs to get more active and take more of my money and my grandchildren's money and start pumping it into the economy when things are quote-unquote bad. I question that premise. I think you make my economy worse by doing that.
Well, you know, then you would believe in Herbert Hoover, I guess, Cody, right? In 1929, he took a minor recession and balanced the budget.
Herbert Hoover talked many times about stimulating the economy.
Herbert Hoover in 1929 took a recession, balanced the budget, and gave us the greatest depression in American history. Now, in bad times, you need budget deficits. I mean, that's basic economics.
That's the Keynesian propaganda that you guys
not just
always
Keynesian.
come back
No.
with. Hoover was every bit as stimulative as the next president and the next president.
That's not true.
Republican Democrat down the line.
We're talking about cutting the deficit, not adding to it. This is the focus
I think we should cut the deficit
here, Mark. Okay, so how, if you think we should cut the deficit, how are we going to do it? Republicans don't want tax increases to bring in money. The states aren't generating tax revenue because people and businesses aren't making money. And you want to have another stimulus to spend more money. This is out of control. Nothing's going to happen. The deficit is not going to be cut.
Well, look, I think you have to look at the long term here. In 2010, it would be wrong to have a balanced budget. We are in bad times. This is the time to have a budget deficit. But as a Democrat, I'm a fiscal conservative, the way Bill Clinton was. And I believe in good times, we need to have a stimulus. Remember, the only president in 40 years ever to balance the budget was a Democratic president. That was Bill Clinton. So I think this bipartisan commission is a good idea. Remember, it starts December 1st of 2010. It starts after the congressional elections. It has bipartisan appointees from all branches of government, the president, the House, and the Senate. And there's no way we can get to a budget resolution unless Democrats and Republicans agree, right? Republicans want to spend money on corporations and pharmaceutical companies. Democrats want to spend money on Social Security. And they're going to have to agree.
I want to spend some money on some new clothes.
$8 billion for corporations with nuclear facilities yesterday.
Wow, we have to leave it there, boy. We'll have you back because there's a lot to talk about on this. By the time they start in December, it's going to be twice as bad. All right, thanks for joining us on Happy Hour.
And twice as expensive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to do